Hi, this is Monday, November 28th. Fingers crossed, this will be the video you're actually watching. But who knows? We can't see in the future yet. Food drive has ended, but there is a new drive for those of you who need B points. I emailed parents already. It is for dead Christmas lights. So if you have Christmas lights that they are trying to put up and they no longer work, then you can bring them in. Every strand of dead lights gets you 3 B points. You can get up to 15 B points, and that's completely up to you. I emailed your parents this weekend to let them know about it, and it goes until like January. So technically, if your family takes down Christmas lights and then it turns out that they're dead, then you're more than welcome to bring them in. I don't recommend going to your neighbor's house and stealing them. That would probably not be the best choice. Then, let's see, did the kids missing work? Oh, your semester / 9 weeks ends in 3 weeks. We have this week, next week, the week after, and then we're done. And then that's it. For those of you trying to raise a grade in my class or other ones, you've got 3 weeks left, and then grades lock in. Also, after the end of the semester is when we reset tardies, like everything resets and becomes like a whole new time. Yonty!
Are you doing like one of the final tests?
Yeah, ish. We all do.
What?
We have to.
I'm having F in every class.
What a weird flex.
Besides wellness class.
Wait, you do right now?
No, I have all A's.
Wait,
And 1 B, and that's in this class.
Alright. So, with poetry so far, we've not really done poetry yet with you guys. I've just done like talking about similes and metaphors. We're going to start getting into the actual poemy things. Before you guys freak out, I treat poems a lot like puzzles. We're going to just basically try to use evidence in the poem to figure out how it makes sense and stuff like that. You are going to write poetry, but just like haiku, because they're really short and they're kind of fun to do. I'm not making you write big, painful poems. It's more like short stories. They're just really, really short stories. So to help you out, we're going to define 2 words that I don't know if you got, well, actually, no, before we define the words. Oh, yeah, some of you guys need B points. We're going to help you get B points. So if you go to backside, there's like a little part that says living tenderly. There's like a little blanky area there. I'm going to have you write a thing down there. It's a thing you get to memorize for B points. Remember back during short stories, you had to do the characters and the setting and the plot. We're doing the same thing for poetry. They're going to do this little 6-line poem I'm going to have you memorize, and then you're going to get a chance to stand up and say it. So what you should be doing now is writing it down, because it's going to disappear here in just a second. Hopefully you become less dead. I wish you luck, Edie.
Wait, in this weird space?
No, in that little weird spot right there. Okay. So it's all of 6 lines, 3 stanzas. The part in blue, you don't have to say. That's the dance moves that go along with it. The part that's in black, that's the poem you're going to say out loud. And it's to help you remember how similes and metaphors work. So the first stanza just says, for the simile, like or as, you shall see. Because poems and similes use like or as. So it's just, for the simile, like or as, you shall see. And you just have to point to the people. So you just do like a little pointy thing as you go through. And the second one, Sebastian,
I'm confused.
write this down.
I write that down.
No, you write this down now. It's only like the 10th time I've said it.
I thought we were supposed to write a poem there.
Right, this is the poem you're writing down.
That's a trash poem.
Right. But with the metaphor, use them no more. Because with metaphors, you don't use like or as. You're going to wave your hands back and forth. But with the metaphor, use them no more. When it says you wave your hands back and forth, it's like someone's trying to steal third base in softball, and you're like, what are you doing? No! And you wave your hands back and forth. Or like your teacher's getting ready to give you homework, and you're like, what? No! And you wave your hands back and forth. Not like in the air, like you're at a party. Because again, you're telling people, don't use like or as in a metaphor. And then finally, the last thing to remember, similes and metaphors compare 2 nouns. So the last one is the comparing of 2. I wanted to make it rhyme, so I have to and do, but I don't want you to get confused about what gets compared, so you're going to just whisper the word nouns. So you have the comparing of 2, and you whisper into your shoulder. Nouns is what you will do. And that's the whole thing. And then you guys will get a chance to stand up and say it and get points. We're going to practice it here in just a moment. Lance?
I'm done.
Do you call on us or do
we take volunteers first, and then after that we go through it. And then Sam, hopefully you have that copied down, since you'll be responsible for it here in a moment.
Which one?
The whole thing I've been talking about while you were out there talking to Keegan. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to practice it once together, and then we're going to practice it without the screen up there.
Uh-oh.
I'm not whacking it, I'm just pointing to try and help you guys out. You look so sad. So as we go through, it's just to help you guys. So here's how it should sound.
For the simile, like or as, you shall see. But with the metaphor, use them no more. The comparing of two house is what you will do.
And then you go,
Make it rain beans.
because then you get the 5 B points at the end.
Wait, for the last one, hold up 2 fingers. Oh, so just like this? Oh.
The comparing of 2 house is what you will do.
Oh.
There you go. Alright. Let's practice. We have for the. Try it again. For the. Wow, that's impressively awful. We'll try it again. I know there's only like 8 of you in here, but it just means you have to have a bigger voice. We have.
For the simile, like whereas you shall see.
Feels like you're being sassy, but I'll accept it.
But with a metaphor, use them no more.
Do we do this?
The comparing of two is what you will do.
Nicely done. Good job, Chris. I mean, I think you were the only one that actually spoke up and allowed this side of the class to be mute and just stare at me, but you carried them. Your back may hurt from that one a little bit. You did.
I carry everything.
You did.
Guys, thank you.
So now, we're going to try it again without it behind me, and we're going to see how well things stick in your head up there. So we have.
For this.
The simile, like whereas you shall see. But with the metaphor, use them no more.
But comparing of two nouns is what you will see.
One more time, can we?
Is what you will do, not see.
It's what you would do.
Because it's supposed to
It
rhyme.
rhymes with 2.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
By the way, I heard you guys on this side nicely.
I heard you guys too.
You made
Wait, can we
Chris's
redo it?
shoulders a little less painful on that one, so it was
Wait.
nice of you.
Can we redo it? Can we do it one more time?
Or
Sorry,
we
I'll say
better
it
this
louder.
time?
Sorry.
Yeah. Robert is like slow motion when he says it.
So many attackings of Robert. And we have.
For
For the simile, like whereas you shall see.
But with
But with the metaphor, use them no more. But comparing two nouns is what you will do.
That last stanza seems to throw us off a little bit, but it's alright. Alright,
I got it.
now's the part where I have 2 words. By the way, we'll do our first one at the end of class today. So those of you who want to do it, you'll get your chance coming up. But we'll have to come back to it. So, 2 words to define for you. I think for you guys, if you go down to this, when we did the notes, I don't think we did picture 3. So we're going to use that for these 2 notes to give you guys room on there to do it. So I have 2 words to help you guys out. So it's that little spot down there below where it says picture 2, picture 3. So we'll just use that spot to help you out. So the first word is stanza. If you know what a stanza is, you don't have to write it down, but it does mean you have to raise your hand to then tell me what it is. Lance?
Like a little paragraph in a poem.
Perfect. So it's a paragraph in a poem. So as we get into it, I'm going to be calling on you guys get to read the poems out loud, as opposed to short stories, which was always me reading them. Now you guys get the chance to use your voices. I know.
Wait, we write it in pink 3?
Yeah.
Where?
Where we wrote. If you want more reading, what in pink 3?
Oh, right here?
Yeah. So stanza is a paragraph in a poem. Now, unlike with a normal short story, because in a normal short story you have normal paragraphs. Do you guys know how to find when one paragraph ends, the next begins? What do you look for? What is it you look for?
Space.
In a normal short story? Yeah?
Words.
Yes.
Okay.
No. The word indent?
That's what I said.
not very loud. I kept looking around. You guys just stared at me.
I mean, but like, what
Okay.
if I was on? Like, you got to
Well,
see
that's where
it.
bravery comes in. So Yanti was
What?
an indent.
It's like when the words shift over.
Nicely done. Problem is, poems don't use indenting. So you can't look for that when it comes to stanzas. Because almost every poem we're going to read, there's never a single indent. So indenting is not what we look for. Instead, to know where one stanza ends and the next begins, let's back up. How many stanzas in this?
Two.
So you guys sound confident. How do you know there's two stanzas? What do you look for to know where one ends and the next begins?
Because
Space.
there's space.
Indent.
Nice.
Space.
No.
Why did they indent?
I don't know.
Space.
So,
Burn.
I had a brain fart.
so yeah, make sure you know it's separated by big space. That's how it works anytime you're going through poetry. You have to find big group of words, space, group of words. So just make sure you look for big spacey thing. Alright, now, to help you out next, I'm going to give you a poem and see if you can figure out how many stanzas are in it. If you can figure it out, you just have to throw fingers. And let me know how many fingers or how many stanzas you think it is.
You get B points if you get all right.
Oh yeah, absolutely not. But you get the joy of knowing that you're smart, which is almost the same thing. So this one, see if you can figure out, those of you who have, without using a mouthy bit and just using a finger. To double check, we have 1, big space, 2, big space, 3, big space, 4, big space, 5, big space, 6. Those of you who threw your 6 fingers, nicely done. Now we're going to make it a little bit tougher. I'm going to give you one of the toughest poems I can give you as far as stanzas go. It's, I think, on the back side of yours. It's one that's called Unjust. It's a guy by E.E. Cummings who basically completely ignored all writing rules. So hang on, I'll get you in a second, Carter. If you know, if you can look up here and figure it out, throw your fingers when you can figure out how many stanzas are in this one. And if you can figure this one out, then you are good to go as far as all of this. On my desk. I was hoping you were going to turn that in. Thank you. Carter.
Do I stay here after I finish?
No, because you should not be in the middle. You should be on the left or the right. So once you've done that, then you get to go left or right, and then you're good to go. All right. I see 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, and some people who are not brave. You have no idea.
No.
It's very honest of you. All right. Let's see how some of you are correct and a lot of you are wrong. Let's find
It's
out.
not 10.
So we start off with
It's 9.
1, big space, 2, big space, 3, big space, 4, big space, 5, big space, 6, big space, 7, big space, that counts as 8, big space, 9.
Oh, I
Too
counted.
good. I'm just too
I
good.
counted.
I'm just too
Yes.
good.
You looked
That-
at my hand.
That is how mistakes work. If you threw 9 fingers, nicely done. That's as tricky as I can make stanzas.
Oh my
So once you have that,
So smart.
you're good.
That's it.
Did Drew Cummings make that?
E.E. Cummings, different one. This is Dad.
Oh.
We're not to the child E.
This is initials.
Oh.
Our other one we're going to do is called speaker.
It's not on here.
Correct. That's why you're writing it down.
Oh.
I know, it's so much work. Can we just
Wait,
drop
where
out
do you
now?
write it?
No, you just write it.
Drop out? Where?
Right below where you did the other one.
Somebody said drop out.
Oh, wait.
I think I was dying.
Oh, where we wrote
Uh-huh. See how it's right below stanza?
Yes.
Me too. I haven't given it to you. There's so many kids freaking out.
S-P-E.
So, with a speaker in a poem, it is similar to a narrator. Because a lot of times I'm going to ask you who the speaker in a poem is. Like in this poem, that's not the speaker. In this poem, Robert Graves is not the speaker. In this one, E.E. Cummings is not the speaker. That would be, you guys know what you call someone who writes a poem?
A narrator.
No. The
Author.
author.
Works for me. Poet or author. And so a speaker is different than a poet or author. A speaker is going to be a character in the poem that is talking to us. So a speaker is the character in the poem that is talking to us. Not every poem has a speaker. Some poems are just random babbling about how pretty clouds are. But if you have an actual character talking to you, that qualifies as a speaker in a poem. because we're getting ready to do a poem, and I'm going to ask you who the speaker is, and then when you guys say the author, I get to right in the throat. Yes, you're going to make a sound.
Who was
Oh,
doing
wait,
that?
can you make that sound again?
Alright. We're getting ready to take a look at this poem as our first one. My goal with it does not take us long to go through some of these poems because it's, how many stanzas is this poem?
2.
Yeah, it's only 2 stanzas. My goal with it is there is a speaker in the poem. Your goal is to try and figure out who the speaker is, but don't tell people if you figure it out because it's a famous person. If you figure out who the famous person is, you just hold it in your head. We're going to try to help others. Let's go with. So, a lot of what we're going to do is involving you guys finding evidence in the poem. We're going to take a look at first stanza. I'm going to have you guys look for 3 things in the stanza. 1, is the speaker a guy or a girl? And then find me evidence to prove it. And you can't point up there and go, well, the speaker's name is Sarah, because right in the throat. Because again, that's not the speaker, that's going to be the author. So find me evidence to prove to me it's a dude or a chick. Find me evidence to prove the person's job. And then find me evidence to prove what they look like. Find those 3 things, and then you should be good to go. Lance, that was very kind of you to volunteer to go first. I like it. So you have a nice, loud, projecting voice. You can either look up here or you can look on your paper, whichever one works best for you. Lance is going to read it once, and then I'm going to read it once, and then we're going to start seeing what evidence you guys have. My first question will be evidence for the gender, and then evidence what they look like, and then evidence for the job. Go for it, Lance.
Remember how it was before she came? The picks and shovels dropped beside the door. The sink piled high, the meals in no time. Our jackets we flung them on the floor, the mud tracked in. The clutters on the shelves, none of us shaved or more than halfway clean. Just 7 old bachelors living by ourselves. Those were the days, if you know what I mean.
Thank you, Lance. Nicely done. Next time I pick on you, Lance, I'll have you not have the hand in front of your face so we can hear your nice, strong voice. But in that, you were good to go. Question, Riley?
Oh no, I wanted to
Almost. Let me read it. I'm going to read it again, just because with poetry, it helps to hear things twice. And so once I read it, then I'll take your evidence.
Okay.
One of the 7 has somewhat to say. Remember how it was before she came? The picks and shovels dropped beside the door, the sink piled high, the meals any old time, and our jackets where we'd flung them on the floor, the mud tracked in, the clutter on the shelves. None of us shaved or more than halfway clean. Just 7 old bachelors living by ourselves. Those were the days, if you know what I mean. All right, so first one, evidence to prove gender. Riley,
Bachelor is a male. Like,
you're very close. Bachelor is the right thing, but it's more than just a guy, because Robert is a bachelor, Lance is a bachelor, I'm not a bachelor.
What's it missing?
So do you know the difference?
A kid?
Someone who's not
young male.
Close. I am young at
Not
heart.
married.
No, you're not.
There's what you're going for.
Sorry.
Yeah, but someday, Yanti, you're going to be brave and actually say a thing loudly enough.
I know that. I know that from
I
the
don't
Bachelor
mean
and
that
the
as
There you
Bachelorette.
go. And so you are
I went to
correct.
my mod drive.
So those of you who watch your reality TV, it's one of the few times reality TV has helped you be smarter. Bachelor, unmarried dude, and an unmarried girl is called
Bachelorette.
bachelorette.
Bachelorette. That's
I tried to find a picture. It's not of our speaker, but I just Googled the word bachelor, and this guy came up.
Oh.
So that'll be our hunky bachelor for now.
It looks
And
like
so
an
that
already
would
rhyme.
be our, so we find out he is a bachelor. Ooh, does he live by himself?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Where's your evidence?
Yeah.
Seven.
Just
Seven.
7 old
Seven.
bachelors.
So how many roommates?
7.
Six.
Yeah, 6 roommates.
That was a math question for you. If he says 7, including himself, and I say roommates, that's the whole math thing. So he has 6, and then, what gender are the roommates?
Males.
Nicely done. And then, what he looks like. He gives you some evidence about his appearance in there.
Long beard. Long beard.
He's not very
beard.
clean.
Well, hang on. Where's your, because it never says beard, where's your evidence?
Does it shave?
There you go. So if he doesn't shave, then that tells us if a guy doesn't shave, that's where the beard comes in. So again, nailing it so
Wouldn't
far.
his beard be longer since he never shaved?
Well, maybe his hair doesn't. I don't shave sometimes. My hair only goes so long. And then, ooh, job. Evidence as to the speaker's job.
Bachelor.
Carter?
The shovels
Minor?
by the door, so like yeah.
Works for me. So then, using that, what would be your guess as to a job?
Minor?
Minor.
Minor, I could accept. Not minor as in like young people like you.
Oh, a construction worker.
Minor like or construction worker, I could definitely take. Sebastian?
Or they can be construction workers.
That's
Way to repeat what Riley said. And there's actually one more clue in there that would go towards his job. Ish. I had a kid pointed out. Wesley?
The mud.
The mud trapped in.
And that was the other one. The kid pointed out earlier was like, well, can we count the mud? And I'm like, actually, yeah, I would count that. I'm assuming that connects to whatever the job might be. And then we have 7 dudes living in a house together. What is the house? How do they keep their house?
Dirty.
Evidence is
Or more than or half.
Stack sink.
Stack sink.
stacked
and
sinks,
jackets everywhere.
jackets everywhere,
Clutter on the shelf.
clutter on the shelves, nicely done. And so the fact is, I mean, given you have 7 dudes living in one house, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be messy. Actually, if you have 1 dude living in a house, it's probably going to be messy, but whatever. And I give, who has, the girl has shown up. We're going to find out in a moment what it is that she does that bothers them. Question, Wesley?
Oh
We're almost there. Let's go to second stanza. Now you're looking for evidence to see. Here's where it gets a little tricky. On this evidence, what is it she has changed from the first stanza to the second stanza? So she's done a thing to change it from first stanza to second stanza.
Can I read?
Works for me, Riley. Go for it.
Okay. She scrubs, she sweeps, she even dusts the ceilings. She made us build a tool shed for our staff. No, stop. Let me restart.
Okay.
She scrubs, she sweeps, she even dusts the ceilings. She made us build a tool shed for our stuff. Dinner's at 8, the table settings formal. And if I weren't afraid, I'd hurt her feelings. I'd move. Until we get her married off. And things can gradually slip back to normal.
Works for me.
There's so many commas.
Yeah, there's very few periods, and that's just the way that Sarah Henderson Hay writes, I guess. All right. So again, evidence of what has changed from first stanza to second. She scrubs, she sweeps, she even dusts the ceilings. She's made us build a tool shed for our stuff. Dinner's at 8, the table setting's formal. If I weren't afraid I'd hurt her feelings, I'd move until we get her married off, and things can gradually slip back to normal. So, in general, what is it this girl's doing that makes them mad? Cleaning. So, girl shows up, girl is now forcing them to be clean. Specifically, what did she make them change from the beginning when they were by themselves to her showing up? This is my, can you go back and find evidence of things that changed? And I think there's 3 things kids have found so far. Gwendolyn?
She made a shed for the tools.
Because what did they get to do before?
They threw it on the ground.
Before, they would just take all their stuff, throw it onto the ground, and now she made them build a tool shed, so that's one of our big changes. Riley?
They set the tables formal.
Because what did they get to do before?
Just eat.
Eat whenever they wanted to, a bunch of dudes just eating Hot Pockets, and now they have to actually set a table and have this dinner setting being formal. I think those are the main ones, because you combine the dinner, cleaning, tool shed, dinner. Works for me. So, did you figure out who the girl is?
The one girl.
The girl's a famous girl. Wesley?
The speaker.
The speaker? Yes. Who is the speaker?
Sarah
Sarah
Henderson.
Henderson.
That's the author.
I'm talking about the girl is
No.
She's
Not even
famous.
close, but a good try. Because she's not famous. The speaker is someone you guys all know. So it's a girl who shows up to a place and has 7 guys that are minors that are all working
is it
together.
Snow
Oh, it's Snow White.
Nicely done.
So like,
So
the 7 dwarfs.
The 7 dwarfs. That makes so much sense.
that was the whole point. I was trying to tell you as someone you knew.
Snow White.
I don't even know.
did you just ask who Snow White was?
So
Yes.
Snow
White.
Yes, he did.
Snow White,
I heard that too.
from the Disney movie Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs, the idea was this poem was written from the viewpoint for the speaker then. Who is the speaker going to be?
The dwarves.
Now, we can even be more specific and figure out from the tone of the poem, meaning how it's written and the attitude, we can even nail down which of the different dwarfs it is.
It's grumpy.
Why do you say grumpy?
Because it's
He complains all the time.
he's complaining about what should
There you go. So specifically, we can figure out the speaker is grumpy in there because throughout the entire thing, he's complaining and whining and being, grumpy. And so it's supposed to be a poem written by Grumpy from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Ooh, sticking with my evidence, does the speaker hate the girl?
No.
Where is your evidence that you would use to prove whether he does or does not hate the girl? And there should be a line you can point to where you can use it as proof. Sebastian? We can come back to you. Wesley?
It says, and if I weren't afraid, I'd hurt her feelings.
What
But
does that mean?
that he's afraid
Of?
Hurting
The
her
girl.
feelings.
of hurting her feelings.
Which, if you're afraid to hurt someone's feelings, what does that mean?
He's passionate about it.
Yeah. Typically, if you're trying to not be mean to people, you don't want to hurt their feelings. Because if someone's in class, I like you guys. I don't want to hurt your feelings. When you guys make a mistake, I try to gently guide you. I don't go, hey, giant dum-dum, stop doing what you're doing, you giant idiot.
You did that.
Because that would
You
be...
do that.
Oh, I do not
You
do
mean
that.
said retard.
I do take your phone, but I don't go, giant dum-dum, what's your issue? No, I just take your phone. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
That
Now,
hurt my feelings.
If you internalize that, that's your own issue. If you hear that because it makes you feel sad, that's a different issue. And then, we'll save, there's one more thing, but we'll save that for tomorrow. Because it gives us a chance to practice doing our thing and maybe get our first
High recording.
person already.
High recording.
Five.
High recording.